So we're going to talk about the fixed gear and what these are actually called. So we'll work our way from the right to the left here. And these are all pretty common in all the places that I've been. Really depends where you're climbing, but you'll probably see these if you start sport climbing. So first of all, they're all connected with these bolts. Bolts are what these are. They're little hangers. Sometimes if they're glue-in bolts, they might look a little more like this, where they're more of a circle. There's lots of different variations on this, but basically it's a fixed piece of very strong metal that has a hole in it. And then in sport climbing areas, sometimes multi-pitching, it's not like this, but oftentimes in sport climbing areas, it's going to have some form of rounded metal for you to lower off of. So this is called a muzzy hook. It's commonly called a muzzy hook. Maybe it's called something different where you're from. And these are used in usually pretty common climbing areas as a way to quickly clip in the rope. It's kind of like a big carabiner. So that's what those are called, muzzy hook. And then what this is attached with in this scenario is called a quick link. So it's called a quick link if it's got this little spinny thing. They're not always attached like this. This is just the hardware store stuff that I was able to pick up. These rings are called wrap rings, rappel rings, but everyone just calls them wrap rings. Sometimes they're actually fixed in the bolt without a quick link. But I wasn't able to find those at the hardware store, so I just bought this as a simulation. But sometimes they're actually in the bolt itself, so you'll just have two wrap rings like this. Okay? And then the last thing we have here is chains. So these chains come in different sizes. Importantly, for later on, sometimes you can fit the rope double backed through the chain, and sometimes you cannot. So sometimes it'll only fit this way, and sometimes it'll only fit this way. Usually attached with a quick link. Those are the common things that you'll see at a sport climbing crag if you're going climbing. This is all called fixed gear, which we already covered in this course, but these are obviously nice and shiny because I just bought them, but sometimes they're a little more disheveled and can be actually worn through, which is why we inspect the anchors. But I just wanted to walk through the definite, like what these are, and now we're going to talk about inspecting these to make sure that there's no damage, erosion, as well as what they're connected to. Because obviously this is a nice wooden wall, but in the outdoor world, these are going to be connected to rocks. So let's get into inspecting anchors. That's what's next.